Okay, so you're starting your journey as a developer. You've got this whole map laid out in front of you. But for a lot of people, that very first step, it's a huge roadblock. It's a choice that feels really overwhelming, but I'm going to show you a much simpler way to think about it. So let's go ahead and chart this first part of your path together. Ah, this one. Which programming language should I learn first? It's the question, right? You see it on every forum, every Reddit thread, every bootcamp Q&A. This is probably the first big crossroad you hit on your developer roadmap. And honestly, it's the one that stops way too many people dead in their tracks before they even get going. And you know what happens next, right? You spend weeks, maybe even months, just researching. You're comparing job trends, you're watching a million YouTube videos, and you just get stuck in analysis paralysis. You're so worried that picking the wrong language is going to derail your career before it even starts. But here's the thing, that is absolutely the wrong way to think about it. So let's completely reframe this whole problem. And this quote, which comes straight from the developer community, this is everything. It really is the key. If you get one thing, get this. Your goal isn't to become a master of syntax. Your real goal is to become a great problem solver. The programming language, that's just the tool. It's the hammer you use to build the house. Okay, so let's really shift our whole perspective here. Success, especially at the beginning, is not about memorizing a bunch of language features. It's about taking the little bit you've learned and actually creating something real with it. The only true measure of your progress is what you can build. So, what actually makes a language a good first choice? Well, it really just comes down to three super practical things. Number one, low setup friction. Can you get Hello World up and running in a few minutes, or is it going to take you all day? Two, a big, supportive community. When you inevitably get stuck, and you will, is there a massive army of people on Stack Overflow or Discord who can help you out? And finally, is it relevant to what you want to do? Does it get you excited about the kinds of things you want to build? That's really it. And how do you know if the language you picked is actually working for you? Well, here's a simple little litmus test. A few months in, just ask yourself these three questions. 1, have you actually finished at least 2 small projects? 2, can you explain to someone what those projects do? And 3, when something breaks, do you have a basic idea of how to start debugging it? If you can say yes to all 3, you're golden. Your choice is working perfectly. And if not, guess what? The problem probably isn't the language, it's that you're not spending enough time building. All right, so now that we've got the right mindset, let's get our bearings and start looking at the map. We're going to chart out 3 of the biggest, most popular paths for getting started in backend development: Python, JavaScript, and Go. But wait, before we jump into the languages themselves, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What even is backend development? Think of it like the engine room of a ship. It's all the stuff you don't see, the databases, the APIs, all the core logic that actually makes the part you do see, the front end, work at all. It's the power behind the scenes. First up, let's talk about Python. The whole idea behind Python is right there in that phrase, executable pseudocode. It's designed to be so readable that it almost looks like you just wrote out your instructions in plain English. This focus on simplicity and clarity makes it one of the absolute best languages for a total beginner to pick up. It just makes sense. Next, we've got JavaScript. Now, for the longest time, JavaScript was kind of stuck. It lived only inside your web browser, making buttons clickable and animations happen. But then this thing called Node.js came along, and it completely changed the game. It let JavaScript escape the browser and run on the server, making it a true backend powerhouse. The coolest part? You can now build an entire web app, from what the user sees to the deep server logic, all with just one language. And our third path is Go. You might hear it called Golang. This language was born inside Google for a very specific reason: to solve the massive, complex problems of the modern internet. It's all about building super fast, super reliable systems that power the cloud. It's also designed for simplicity, but it's a simplicity focused on performance and doing a ton of things at once, without breaking a sweat. Okay, so let's put these 3 side by side so you can see how they stack up. At their core, Python is all about readability. JavaScript is about being everywhere on the web, and Go is laser-focused on performance and simplicity for big systems. Now, for beginners, Python and JavaScript are generally considered easier to get started with. Go is still simple in its own way, but it does throw a few new concepts at you right from the start. As for what they're used for, you can see Python is huge in AI and data. JavaScript dominates web apps, and Go is the king of cloud services. All right, this brings us to a really important checkpoint. Knowing what a language is great, but the real question is, what can you do with it? Where can it take you? So let's connect these languages to actual career paths and the kinds of things you might be excited to build. So let's start with Python. Ask yourself this. Are you the kind of person who gets excited about finding patterns in data? Or maybe the idea of artificial intelligence and making systems smarter just sounds really cool to you? If so, Python is probably where you want to look first. Because of its strengths, Python is, without a doubt, the king of data science and AI. It's also the first choice for anyone doing automation, writing little scripts to do boring, repetitive tasks for you. And on top of all that, it's a fantastic language for building powerful web applications with popular frameworks like Django and Flask. Okay, but what if you're more interested in building the things that people actually see and touch and interact with every single day? If your goal is to create those smooth, dynamic websites and apps that people use, well then the JavaScript path is probably calling your name. Starting with JavaScript really opens the door to becoming a full-stack developer. That means you can work on both the pretty front-end stuff and the powerful back-end logic. It's the language for building those slick, modern user experiences. And get this, with tools like React Native, you can take your JavaScript skills and build actual mobile apps that run on both iPhones and Android phones. But maybe you're not as interested in the user interface. Maybe you're fascinated by the plumbing, the deep infrastructure that makes everything else possible. If you want to be the person who builds the incredibly fast and reliable systems that the whole internet runs on, then you need to take a serious look at Go. Yeah, Go has pretty much become the language of the cloud. It's what you use to build those high-performance back-end systems, and it's the top choice for cloud and DevOps engineers. In fact, some of the most important tools in modern software development, you've definitely heard of Docker and Kubernetes, they're both written in Go. That's how fundamental it is. Okay, we've covered the right mindset, we've mapped out the 3 main paths, and we've tied them to where you might want to go in your career. So think of this as your very first checkpoint on the back-end roadmap. Let's just wrap up with the single most important takeaway. Seriously, if you remember only one thing, please make it this. All the online debates about which language is the best, it's just noise. It's a distraction. The best language for you is whichever one gets you to actually start building and, more importantly, finishing projects. That's it. The one that clicks and lets you create. So we've established our first checkpoint and given you that high-level map of the territory. The next stops on our roadmap are going to be deep dives into each of these languages. We'll explore Python, JavaScript, and Go in more detail, looking at their ecosystems so you can feel really confident taking that next step. So I want to end by flipping that original question on its head. Instead of asking, which language should I learn? I want you to start asking yourself, what am I excited to build? Let that be your guide. Let that be the thing that pulls you forward. Your path is right there, waiting for you to take the first step. This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path. Build your career.